Hi everyone, welcome back. So this is week 2 of the Get Active Challenge. So we're going to try and increase the intensity a little bit this week. So the format's the exact same. We're going to have 4 exercises back to back, 45 seconds work, 15 seconds rest and 2 rounds. But last week we tried to do 1 cardio, some lower body, some upper body and rotate through. This week we're going to focus on each block. So there's going to be a cardio block, a lower body block, an upper body block. So that should just make it a little bit more intense. So we'll get straight to it. Get nice and warm to start off with, so we're just going to march on the spot just to raise that heart rate up, picking those feet up off the floor. No problem. And then we're just going to take those arms nice and big while you're marching, just to mobilise the shoulders, loosen everything off. Good, so just picking those feet up, raising that heart rate up, mobilising the shoulders. Perfect, and then just keep small marching on the spot. We're just going to take those arms out to the sides, across the front. So open up that chest and back. Good stuff, just get everything moving to start us off. Perfect. Keep marching on the spot. We'll put those hands on your shoulders and then you're going to just draw some shoulder circles. So really getting into that shoulder joint. Just loosen off and opposite direction. Nice big circles. Excellent, and relax there. Okay, we're just going to sit into those heels, small little squat down, and then just reach up into the air. So little squat, reaching it up, drive your knees out to the sides, keep that head and chest up, and just get everything moving. As you start to warm up, you might be able to sink a little bit lower. Make sure the weight's through those heels, and you're driving up through. You should be able to wiggle the toes. Good, and we're going to add a little rotation into that. So we're going to come down and then just turn that body to the side, reach to the side. So little squat, reaching up and over the shoulder. So little rotation up and over. So getting a nice big stretch across the body, sitting into those heels. Nice big loosen up, stretch everything off. Good stuff. Excellent, and then we're just going to loosen those hamstrings off, so we're just going to lean forward and sweep through. So one foot comes in front of the other, nice long leg at the front, bend the back leg and just sweep through, and try and keep this back nice and straight, tilt the body forward. So one leg in front is nice and long, step in front, little sweep, loosen those hamstrings off. Good stuff. And relax there, okay, perfect. So like I said, what we're going to do this time is we've got 4 cardio exercises in a row, which are going to move back to back. The timings are the same as last week, so 45 seconds work, 15 seconds rest, and we'll do 2 rounds. So it's 8 minutes of work, and it's all kind of cardio exercises, getting that heart rate up, burning some calories, and just working on that cardiovascular fitness. So straight into the first exercise, which is going to be opposite elbow to opposite knee. So you're just going to try and stay nice and tall, core in tight, and you've got that little rotation, squeezing it in. If that's a little bit difficult, we can just bring it a bit lower, so we still have a bit of rotation, or we could just march on the spot, okay? Just going to set the timer, 45 seconds, and then I'll give you the next exercise in the rest period. So 3, 2, 1. So an opposite elbow to opposite knee, nice and tall, core in tight, picking those knees up. Really squeeze that standing leg to try and stay balanced. Try not to hunch your body over. Try and stay nice and tall, so we're using that core to pull that knee in. And then, like I said, to make that easier, you can just come a bit lower, pick your knee up and get a bit of rotation, or we can just march it on the spot instead, just to keep moving and keep that heart rate up. Good stuff. So keep squeezing across, got 10 seconds. So we're working that core and working those hip flexors as well to pick the knee up. Good, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect, little breather for 15 seconds. The next one's the same as last week because I want to work those hamstrings again, so it's not always hip flexors. So we're going to step to the side, heel up to your bottom, step to the side, heel up to your bottom. So we're here, side to side, bringing that heel up to your bottom, okay? So off you go. Side to side, heel up to the bottom, squeeze that hamstring, and to make that one easier, we can just go straight on the spot, pick one heel up, pop it down, pick one heel up, pop it down, or to make it harder, we can move faster, side to side. Good stuff. Getting those legs working, core in nice and tight, keep that heart rate up. Excellent. Good stuff. Squeeze the back of those legs, get those hamstrings working. 8 seconds. Nearly there. 5. Good. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Little breather. Next one's just a side step with a step over. So last week we stepped over, stepped under. This time we're just over the top and then over the top. So we're just moving side to side, picking that knee up and over, core in nice and tight. Okay? When we're ready, off we go. So just step up and over, core's in nice and tight. To make that easier, we just don't bring that knee as high, and we can just step across, stay on the move. Okay, so you just side stepping instead, or we can really try and come up and over, like we're stepping over something. That'll get that heart rate up a little bit more, that'll work your balance a little bit more as well. Excellent, so staying on the move, get those hip flexors working. 10 seconds, work as hard as you would like. You can make it easier as you like, no pressure. 3, 2, and 1, perfect. Catch your breath back, little breather. Then the last one, we're just going to be marching on the spot, and we're going to be punching vertically in the air, okay, just to get those arms and legs working. So 3, 2, 1, 45 seconds. So we're just marching those feet. If we want to make it harder, we can turn that into a bit of a jog. If we want to make it easier, we can just slow it down and just get those arms and legs moving. Good, so just work as hard as you feel comfortable. Again, if it's a little bit challenging overhead, we can just punch out in front instead, just to take the strain off the shoulders. Good stuff, so we're just staying on the move. If those shoulders get tired, bring your arms down. 10 seconds, and then we've got one more round. Good stuff, well done. Keeping it going, 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Catch your breath back, have a little breather. So you know the exercises now. We're going in 10 seconds, one more time. Elbow to knee again for the first exercise. We are going in 3, 2, 1 when you're ready. So coming across, squeeze it up. Keep that chest up nice and proud. Bring that knee up and across. If we want to make it easier, we just come a touch lower, but we keep moving, or we can march it out on the spot instead and stay on the move. Good. If you want to make it harder, you can obviously speed that up. So whatever you're comfortable with, just picking those knees up, keeping that heart rate up. 15 seconds, keeping it going. Really good job. 10 seconds. Good, bit of coordination. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. Little breather. We've got the hamstring curls next, so we're just coming up to the bottom, bringing that heel in. In 5 seconds, off we go. So shifting across. Good. Heel up to the bottom, squeeze that hamstring. Staying on the move, you can pop your hands wherever feels comfortable. Pushing side to side. If you want to make that one easier, remember, we're just on the spot, pick that heel up, pop it down. If we want to make it harder, we can push it across, Get those hamstrings working and those legs working. Good job, well done. 20 seconds, stay on the move. Doing really well. 15 seconds, 2 more exercises after this one. Good, 10 seconds. Excellent work, well done, nearly there. 5. Good, 3, 2, and 1. Good, little breather for 15 seconds. Then we've got the side step, side to side, but we're trying to come up and over to get into those hips, get those hips working. In 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, so we're up and over. Get into those hips, pushing side to side. Core in nice and tight, work those legs to lift them up and over. Get those hip flexors working. If you've been sat down quite a lot, they can get quite weak. Again, if that's a bit challenging, we can just stay lower and we can just step across and step back instead. As long as we're staying on the move, just getting that heart rate elevated a bit. Just work whatever feels comfortable for you. Don't need to push too hard. Good, 10 seconds, well done. Keeping it going, stay on the move. And then 1 more exercise, and then we'll have a breather. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect, so 15 seconds rest. Got 1 more exercise to do, so we're going to be marching and punching those arms. And then we've got a minute rest. So in 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1. So we're marching on the spot, punching those arms up. This one's going to elevate that heart rate a little bit, so if it is quite hard going overhead, just punch in front. If that's a bit hard on your shoulders, you can just bicep curl instead, but we're just staying on the move, okay? To make it harder, we can obviously go faster. To make it easier, we can slow it down and just pick those knees up and those arms. Perfect, well done. Keeping it going, stay moving, nice and light on those feet. Bit of a shoulder burner, get those arms working, 10 seconds. Good job. 5 seconds, well done. 3, 2, 1, and relax there, good. Okay, so we're back in, next round. So next round's lower body focused again. So we've got 4 exercises back to back for those legs. So it is going to be quite challenging. Rest whenever you need to and take the options where you need to as well. So the first one is just a nice and simple bodyweight squat. So we can use those hands as a counterbalance, but I just want you to focus on the technique. So we want to be sitting onto those heels, driving those knees out to the sides and standing up. So try not to force those knees forward onto your toes. Pretend you're sitting onto a chair, standing up. Sit onto a chair, stand up. So we're using those arms, okay? So first one's 45 seconds. I'm going to set the timer and then we'll give it a go. So in 5 seconds, just normal body weight squat. Weight through those heels, head and chest up. Off we go. So we're just sinking into it, standing up. Use your arms as a counterbalance. Pretend that you're sitting down onto something. Drive through those legs. Make sure those knees don't collapse in, you want to be pushing them out. If you are quite confident in this one, you can obviously sink a little bit lower and get into those legs a bit more. If it's quite challenging, just stay a little bit higher. Just a little squat, stand it up, sitting onto those heels, head and chest stays up, back's nice and straight. So we're just focusing on that nice strong position, straight down, straight through. Try not to shift your body weight onto your toes. We're going to be sitting on those heels. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Have a little breather. So that's a nice big one for those leg muscle groups, lower body. So next one again, focusing on the technique. We're going to go nice wide stance. Use your arms as a counterbalance. We're going to shift that weight over onto your heel on one leg and then up to the middle, and then shift across to the other side up to the middle. So it's like a little side lunge. Other leg stays nice and long. Weights through the heel. You should be able to wiggle your toes the whole time. And again, if you want to make it harder, you can sink yourself down lower. If you want to make it easier, it's just a small little dip together, small little dip. So we're just trying to bend one leg and keep the other leg straight. Bend one leg, keep the other leg straight. So you just shift across. So you're just moving that body weight across. Legs are nice and wide, because if they are too narrow, you won't be able to shift that body weight. So go nice and wide, bend that knee and hip, sit backwards and up together. Perfect, and relax that one there. And then the next one, we're going to keep those feet relatively wide again. We're going to hinge forward so the back stays nice and straight, and we stretch those hamstrings out as low as you feel comfortable. Reach up in the air and really squeeze those glutes, okay? So reach down, reach in the air, off we go. So we're stretching the hamstrings, squeeze the glutes, and really keep this back nice and straight, okay? So we're just working, it's called a hip hinge. Stretch your hamstring, squeeze your glute. Try not to arch this back here because you won't feel it in the back of your legs. So try and keep that chest proud, shoulder blades pulled together, and really think about squeezing those glutes at the top to get the back of those legs working. Posterior chain. Good, 5 more seconds, up and down. 3, 2, 1, perfect. And the next one is like a sumo squat. So we're going to go a touch wider than normal and have those feet slightly turned out. We're just going to dip into this low position and we're just going to try and pulse in this little small range here. Okay, so it's just small little reps, we're straight in. Weights through those heels, so you should be able to wiggle your toes. Okay, if you want to make that harder, you can go lower and stay in a deeper position. If you want to make it easier, you're just a little bit higher. And we're just bending those knees and we're bending at the hip as well. And we're keeping the tension in those legs. If that's a bit difficult, we can just lock that out, have a little breather, and then we can sink back in and carry it on. So keep the weight on those heels. It is quite a challenging one. Do a few reps, have a little rest. Do a few more reps, have a little rest. 10 seconds, tough one to finish. We've got one more round. Excellent, 3, 2, and 1. Perfect, 15 seconds rest. We're back to the start one more time through. So we're back to squats again. So like I said, it's a bit more challenging than last week. We've taken it up a notch because it's 4 leg exercises back to back. So squats in 3, 2, 1, weights through the heels, sit yourself down, head and chest up, pretend you're sitting on backwards onto a chair. So those hips need to come backwards when the knees bend as well. Don't just bend the knees and keep the chest up. We need to make sure that bottom goes backwards and we sink down into that squat. So sitting onto those heels, second time through, last time you need to do these. And just focus on your technique a little bit on these. We're not rushing. We're just getting those legs nice and strong and focusing on technique rather than speed, because it's going to be challenging the more you focus as well. 5 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Perfect, have a breather, just shake those legs off. We've got the side lunges again, so nice and wide with those feet. Again, focusing on technique rather than speed on these ones, so just trying to get those legs strong. So we're wide with those feet. When we're ready, shift that body weight over to one side, up to the middle, shift to the other side, up to middle. Kind of like you're ice skating. Push off one leg, push off the other leg. Again, weight is through the heels, so the toes should be able to wiggle the whole time. If you want to make it harder, we can sink down lower. If you want to make it easier, we just stay a bit higher and just shift across. Shift across. Try not to just force that knee forward. Sit your bottom backwards like you're sitting down again. Get those legs working. 10 seconds, well done. Keeping it going, nearly there. Good, 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, perfect, and then we're going to work those hamstrings and glutes down the back. So we're going to reach forward, reach in the air again. Keep this back nice and tight, shoulder blades pinned together. So feet out wide, and we're in. So we reach down, reach in the air. Stretch those hamstrings, back's nice and straight. Squeeze your glutes and reach up. If it's a bit challenging to go overhead, you don't have to reach up, you can just stand through. Just make sure we keep that chest up and keep this back really straight. Okay, we don't want to be folded here because you'll just feel it in your lower back instead. We want to keep that chest up, bottom drives backwards, squeeze your glutes, get the back of those legs working. 10 seconds. Good. 3, 2, 1. Good. And the last one to finish, quite a tough one, is the sumo squat with the pulse. So just working in whatever depth feels comfortable for you, and we're just trying to stay low. So feet are a little bit wider, slightly turned out, and we're going to sink down, arms used as a counterbalance, and we're just working in this small little range. So we're sitting on the heels, the toes should be able to wiggle all the time. If you want to make it harder, we can sink a bit lower and stay in that deep range. If you want to make it easier, we just stay at the top and then lock it out, have a rest, stay at the top and have a rest. So it's just this small little range. We're keeping tension in those quads and glutes as well at the same time. Keep that head and chest up, it is tough. So just rest when you need to, have a little breather, and then carry it back on. Got 10 seconds. Keeping it going, weight through those heels. Good job, 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1, well done. Okay, good work. So 2 rounds down, 2 rounds to go. So now we're going to hit an upper body round. So the first exercise, we're going to just keep marching on the spot to stay on the move. And all we're going to try and do is push your arms out. And I want you to try and squeeze together. So we're not actually touching anything, but we open up that chest, push, and we want to try and pull those shoulder blades apart and really try and think about squeezing those chest muscles. So we're just staying on the move, big stretch, big squeeze, working that upper body, and then I'll give you the next one in the rest period. So we'll set that timer. So in 5 seconds, so we're just small little light march on the spot, and off we go. So push and squeeze, and also try and get a big stretch as we come back, keeping those arms out in front. Good stuff. And if this is a bit challenging, you can just slow it down, you can keep your feet still and just focus on the upper body movement instead. But really think about squeezing those arms together and open up that chest. Good. Shoulders might get a bit tired holding those arms out in front, so you can come a little bit lower if your shoulders are a bit tired. Good. 10 seconds. Push together. Excellent, 5 seconds, nearly there, squeeze that chest, and relax, perfect. Next exercise, so last week we worked on the W, which was this one. This week we're going to be in the W position, and we're just going to reach forward and then elbows down. Reach forward and elbows down, but the whole time, those shoulder blades are squeezed together, okay? So off we go, so slight lean forward, elbows to your sides, reach forward, squeeze down, reach forward. Okay, it is quite challenging, so if that gets a bit hard, we can just work the W instead, where we just pull up and squeeze together the same as what we did last week, okay? So we're working the back of those shoulders, so if we can, reach away and in, reach away and in. Pull those elbows by your sides, keep those shoulder blades together, 10 seconds. Back stays nice and straight. 5, 3, 2, 1. Perfect, good stuff. Then the next one, we're going to go back to the front again, hitting the chest. We're going to be marching, we're going to have long arms, we're going to squeeze together, and I want you to actually push those hands together so we activate those chest muscles, okay? So we're marching on the spot, we'll go straight in, so big stretch, squeeze and push. Big stretch, squeeze and push. So we get a little isometric contraction across that chest in the front. Again, if you want to work harder and get that heart rate up, you can move those feet faster and really push hard in the middle, or we can go slower. We can keep those feet still just to bring that heart rate down. And again, if the shoulders are getting tired to hold your arms out, bring your hands a bit closer. But we're just trying to really push those hands together, squeeze that chest. Perfect. So just a little bit of upper body activation. 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Having a little breathe. And the last one, we're just trying to get these arms working and working around the joint. So again, we're going to keep marching, keep moving. We're going to bicep curl, shoulder press, and if you can see, bend and extend the elbows, and then back down. So it's curl, press, bend, extend, and back down. Curl, press, bend, extend, okay? Off we go. So we're marching, bicep curl, press into the air, bend those elbows, press into the air, come back down and to the bottom. We're really trying to squeeze those muscles so that they're activated and they're working. So we're not just got floppy arms and working through it, we're pretending we're squeezing a weight up and pushing that weight up. And it's just nice and healthy around that elbow joint. Work those biceps, triceps and shoulders, and just get a little bit of work into those arms. Good stuff. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Little breather. Take your time. We're back to the start with the chest press on the spot. Again, you can keep marching to keep that heart rate up, or you can stand still and just work your upper body. In 3, 2, 1, off we go. So open the chest, push out. Open and push out. So really think about pushing those hands as far forward as you can. That's going to bring these shoulders forward and activate those chest muscles at the front. If we want that heart rate up more, like I keep saying, we can turn that into a little jog, or we can just be flat on the floor and we're just working this movement. If our shoulders are tired, come a little bit lower so our arms don't have to hold, our shoulders don't have to hold our arms up as much. Good, squeeze together. Just get that upper body activated and working. So this one's working the front of the chest, and then the next one works the back of the shoulders, so the opposite muscle. And relax there, good job, well done. Just shake it off. Next one's those W extensions where we're just reaching forward and down. Keep those shoulder blades pulled together the whole time, okay? In 3, 2, 1, little lean forward, elbows to the side, reach out and back down. So the elbows and the hands stay nice and high. We're increasing that lever length to put the stress on the shoulders and reaching forward. If that one's too hard, we're just W raising instead, and we're lifting those elbows up instead, pinning those shoulder blades together, okay? Good stuff. So keep trying to reach out if we can. Don't let these arms drop down here. Let's try and keep those elbows back, shoulders pulled together. 10 seconds. Well done, good job. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Just catch that breath back, shake those arms off. It is quite tough doing all 4 arm exercises in a row. Next one, we've got the long arms with the squeeze in the middle. So push those hands against each other, work that chest in 3, 2, 1. So keep march on the spot, long arms, push those hands and come out. Push those hands, come out. So big stretch across the chest. Keep those arms nice and long. pushing those hands together to get that heart rate up more. We can jog faster if you wanted to make it easier. We're back on the spot, slight bend in the elbows to make that a bit easier. And we're just trying to push those hands against each other. So it looks like we're doing nothing, but you should get quite a good activation across that chest, just working those chest muscles at the front. Perfect, well done. 5 seconds, really good job. 3, 2, 1, perfect. Catch that breath back, last one. Again, just move back so you can see me on the Zoom, but bicep curl, shoulder press, bend those elbows, extend, and then back down. And think about lifting a weight, so squeeze that arm as you come up and tense it, rather than keeping it unactivated. Off we go, so we're jogging on the spot, bicep curl, squeeze, shoulder press, bend those elbows all the way to the back of the head, press up straight, back down, and to the start. So curl, press, bend, extend. Good, so just working those arms again to make it harder. We can jog faster and just try and squeeze those arms a bit more. To make it easier, we can take out that shoulder press and we can just bicep curl, push down, bicep curl, push down, and we could just stand still and just work the biceps on the way up, push down for the triceps on the way back down. Okay, if you wanted to make that a bit easier. Good, 5 seconds, 3, 2, and 1, perfect, relax there, good, have a breather. Okay, brilliant. So a bit of upper body work done there. So we've worked that upper body now. So now we're just going to move on to a bit of a functional round. So it's kind of all over body, a little bit of balance, a little bit of core work. So the first one, all we're going to be doing is taking a step out to the side and just reaching across. So it's just a little side step with a reach. So we shift that body weight onto one foot, reach over, and reach over, okay? To make that one easier, you can just keep your feet closer and just reach to the sides instead of in the air, okay? So I'll set my timer, 45 seconds, keep that core in tight as you rotate. So we're going in 3, 2, 1, and we just step it out, reach up, so we're diagonal, making a diagonal line with our arms and our foot. And most of our weight is through this standing leg here as we step it out. So it's just a bit of a functional one. We've got a bit of rotation there as we twist. We're working the arms and legs, so it's going to get that heart rate up a bit. So if it is a bit challenging, we can just push across instead, just to take the strain out of the shoulders and to take out that overhead work. Perfect, so just staying on the move. Excellent, 10 seconds, keep moving, arms and legs. Good, 5 seconds. 3, 2, and 1. Good. So the next one is similar to the leg exercise we did at the end. We're going to drop down into a little squat. So we're holding strong in these legs and we're on the heels. The arms are going to be long and we're going to rotate side to side. So we're rotating at the hips, keeping this core in tight. Okay? So off we go. So it's side to side. So we've got to hold these legs strong and work the core. To make that easier, take the squat out and just work on rotations and squeeze that core and keep us strong around the spine. To make that harder, you can come lower and rotate across and hold it in on those legs, okay? So whatever feels comfortable for you, just working round. Try not to just move the arms. We're trying to rotate that whole chest. Good. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good, catch that breath back. And then we're gonna do a single leg balance exercise like we did last week. So last week we shifted the weight over onto one foot. So we had 90% on this leg, 10% here, and we went to the side. This week we're gonna just step diagonal backwards, okay? So off we go, give it a try. If you need to shift that weight back and in, you can do. But I want you focusing on putting most of the weight through this standing leg at the front. So the other leg is there just to put you off balance, and that's going to work this leg more. So this leg isn't the leg that's working, it's this standing leg. So we're trying to keep everything nice and strong. Quads, glutes, hamstrings are all switched on. This is going to improve our single leg strength, so it's going to help with balance. And like I said, if we need to just shift that weight over and back, we can do. So step back and step forward, but try and have at least 60–70% of the weight going through this front leg. 5 seconds. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Perfect. Shake that leg off. That should be quite challenging. And then we'll do the same on the other leg. So again, tilt that body forward a bit, weights through the heel, and it's like we could literally pick that foot up off the floor. So this leg's doing all of the work. So step it backwards diagonally, bring it in, and then step out, bring it in. But the center of mass is over this front leg. So my head, my chest is over this front leg, my knee's not caving in, it's staying nice and straight. Working this hip to keep me balanced. And this leg's just moving, just to knock me off balance and really work that leg. To make that easier, we can just stay a bit taller and just keep this footing closer, or we can shift that body weight back a bit and back forward, back and back forward, whatever's comfortable for you. If you want to make it really hard, you can try and pick that leg up the same as last week and backwards. Good, 3, 2, 1, perfect. 15 seconds rest, last round. So we're back to the start with the side step and the diagonal reach. So last time through, 4 minutes of work, then we'll have a stretch to finish. So in 3, 2, 1, we just take that foot out and reach, foot out and reach. So we're just stepping away, reaching up in the air. It's getting that heart rate up. Again, if you want to make it harder, we can speed it up and really work those arms and legs. If you want to make it easier, we just come into the sides with a smaller step, okay, just to take the overhead workout to make that a little bit easier. And just keep working at your own pace, like we keep saying. As long as we're moving, just being active, that's all that we need. It's only week 2, so just taking your time. Good stuff. So rest when you need to, take some options if you need to. 5 seconds, well done. 3, 2, and 1. Catch that breath back, perfect. So the next one is a little isometric squat with a twist. So we're nearly there. So we're going to be holding it in these legs here, nice and strong, arms long, and then we're rotating around the hips. So when we're ready. Good, keep that chest up. We want to keep this core in tight, and that's creating the movement. So that's creating a rotation. That's going to keep our spine nice and strong, and these legs are just holding us stable, rotating round. If you want to make it easier, extend the legs and take the legs out of the equation. If you want to make it harder, we can just sink into it a bit lower and just rotate those shoulders, keep that core in tight. Good, 10 seconds, 2 exercises left. Excellent, 5 seconds. Good, 3, 2, 1, perfect. 15 seconds rest. 2 exercises to go, and that's the single leg balance one, okay? So really think about popping that weight over the single leg, trying to get it switched on. So we're going 3, 2, 1, step that foot diagonally back, and then you're just bringing it back in. So again, chest, my head and everything is kind of in line over my foot, because all of my weight is trying to go through this front leg, and the other leg is just moving. So this leg's really holding me nice and strong. To make that easier, I can just shift that body weight forwards and backwards, so a bit more weight will go through that back leg to make it slightly easier. Perfect, and to make it harder, we can try and lift that back foot off the ground if we can balance, okay? 10 more seconds, really squeeze this leg, think about everything working, send those messages from the brain, is the quad switched on, glutes, hamstrings, really get everything firing, and relax, good, shake that leg off, last exercise, then we'll have a little stretch, excellent work, well done, good, 5 seconds, so shifting that weight over again, nice and strong, diagonal back, last 45. Keep that leg working, keep squeezing. Good stuff, so holding it in there, squeeze that leg. That's it, good, keep that balance. Excellent, if we need to, just have a little rest. Remember, we can keep shifting that centre of mass if we need to make it easier, or our harder option is trying to pick that foot up off the ground if we can. Squeeze that standing leg, keeping it going. Excellent, well done. 5 seconds, good job. 3, 2, 1, perfect. Good, shake that off, and then we'll have a little bit of a stretch to finish. So we'll go straight into the stretching. Similar to last week, we're going to have one foot in front of the other, bend the front leg, straighten the back leg out, and we're just going to lean backwards slightly and just try and get into those hip flexors and quads. So we're just leaning backwards. Because we've done a lot of marching and step overs, you're just going to be a little bit tight in that hip flexor. So push those hips forward, big stretch down the front, little loosen off. Good, and change leg. So front leg slightly bent, back leg's nice and long, hips drive forward, lean backwards slightly, get a nice big stretch down that hip flexor and quad. Good stuff, just lengthen out down the front. Good, and then like we did in the warm-up, instead of sweeping, we're going to bend the back leg, straighten the front leg, and just lean forward to stretch this hamstring out. So let that chest come forward, front leg's nice and long, and just loosen off that hamstring. Try and tilt that pelvis backwards so we stretch that hamstring at the back. Good, and change leg. So front leg forwards, it's nice and straight, back leg slightly bent, tilt that pelvis, nice long hamstring, little loosener down the back of the legs. Perfect, and just standing that up, we'll take one arm across the front and just loosen those shoulders off. So we did a lot of shoulder work where you had to hold your arms out or punch them in the air. So your shoulders will be a little bit tight. So just loosen those off. Perfect, and change arm. Little loosener, shake everything out. Just lengthen those muscles out a little bit. Like I said last week, you might be a little bit sore tomorrow, so the best thing to do is just keep moving, get everything moving and increase that muscle temperature, and then everything will loosen off. Perfect, and what we're going to try and do is just reach one arm up and over the top, and you can try and grab it with the other arm and give it a little bit of a pull. So you're leaning over, and a nice big stretch down this side, and over to the other side, and you can grab it with the other wrist, and just pull it over, big stretch. Perfect, and then just taking the arms behind just to open up that chest. Just loosen it off, and then we'll slide one arm, if you can just see on the zoom, down the back, just to lengthen those triceps and lats out. Done a bit more upper body today, a bit more intense, so we'll just stretch that out. And change arm. Good, just a little loosen off, take your time. Excellent, and give everything a little bit of a shake, give yourself a round of applause at home, well done, good job. Thanks again for joining us for week 2 of the challenge. It's been great to see everyone getting involved. Again, use this video as often as you'd like to get that extra activity in, and if you have any questions at all, get in contact with the details below. Thanks.